Today I'll talk about the deal approval matrix and how can we make that work. Let me tell you about a conversation I had with a sales rep some time ago. And he came to me and he was very frustrated and he said, Hindol, I don't understand why do I need approval for everything? I've been selling for 8 years. I know what a good deal looks like. And you know what? He was right. And he was right to be frustrated because the approval process at the company was messy. No one knew what needed approval and what didn't. So everything had to go through approval gates. And deals were getting stuck. They were queued and they were getting stuck. So the problem was not the sales rep. He was doing the job. The problem was that we didn't have a clear set of rules. We didn't have a deal approval matrix. In one of the videos, I talked about what a deal desk is and why you need one. Today, I want to get more practical. How do you actually build the rules that make a great deal desk work and work effectively and work efficiently? So let's get into it. What is a deal approval matrix? It is a framework. It's basically a document, and it could be as simple as a spreadsheet that answers one question: who can approve what? It lists out all the things that might vary in the deal. It could include things like discount levels, payment terms, contract length, service level agreements. There's certain legal terms, and for each of those things, it tells you what is standard, what is allowed with approval, and what is just not allowed at all. And the beauty of a good matrix is that it takes a guesswork out of the process, or it limits the guesswork out of the process. A sales rep looks at it and knows immediately, okay, I can offer up to 10% discount on my own. If I want to go to 15%, I go to my manager. If I want to go to 25%, I need the deal desk approval. There's no confusion. There's no waiting around to ask someone. No deals are getting stuck because nobody knows who is supposed to say yes. And here's the thing. When you have a clear set of rules, you actually give sales rep more freedom, not less, because they can move fast on anything within the rules. So let me walk you through the key things that your matrix, it should cover. First, you should look at discounting, obviously. That's a big one for finance in particular. You need tiers. What percentage can a rep approve? What needs a manager? What needs deal desk? What needs executive approval? And at what point do you just say no? We don't want to go that low. And I've seen companies, they set the rep limit anywhere from 5 to 15% depending on the business. And the right number depends on your margins and your sales culture, but you need a number. The second are the payment terms. What is your standard? Is it net 30? Is it net 45? And what are you willing to flex to? In my experience, beyond net 60 should require serious scrutiny. Net 90, that better be a massive deal with a rock solid customer. Third, look at the contract length. Are you okay with month to month? Do you require annual commitments? What about multi-year deals? Do those need special approval because of the revenue recognition implications? There's the other piece on legal terms. This is where it can get very tricky. Things like liability caps, indemnification clauses. You might have data protection terms. And for these, you usually want legal involved. But your matrix should tell sales when to escalate. Accepting customer paper instead of your paper, that's always an escalation in my book. The fifth component is service commitments. Is the sales rep promising implementation timelines, support response times, custom development? These are real costs. Your matrix should address when those promises need approval. It is also important to establish the right thresholds. How do you decide where to set your thresholds? This is where I see companies are struggling. Set them a little bit too tight and everything needs approval. Your deal desk is overwhelmed. Deals slow down and the sales, they get frustrated. They'll figure out a way to work around you. Set them too loose and you're not really controlling anything. At that point, the margins are eroding. Your cash flow is slipping. Your bad terms slip through. And you wonder why you even have a deal desk in the front to begin with. So here's my advice. Look at your data. Pull your last 100 deals. Look at the discounts that were given. Look at the payment terms that were negotiated. And where does the majority fall? And that is probably your standard range. Then look at the outliers. What percentage of deals needed non-standard terms? If it's 10 to 15%, your thresholds are probably about right. But if it's like 40 to 50%, either your thresholds are too tight or your pricing strategy needs some work. Another tip, involve the sales leadership as much as possible in establishing the thresholds. Not because they should get whatever they want, but because they need to own it. If the VP of sales helps create the matrix, they are going to enforce it. If we just hand it down from finance, you might get pushback if you're a finance person. And don't forget to revisit it. I'd say look at your matrix every quarter. Are the thresholds still making sense? Has the competitive environment changed? Are there certain products where you're constantly making exceptions? That's a signal to adjust. Making approvals fast. And here is the thing that is very, very important. Speed matters. Time kills deals. If your deal desk takes 2 days to respond, you might as well not have one. Deals die while waiting for approval. Customers get frustrated. Sales rep, they will find workarounds. You're very creative. So how do you make it fast? First, set the response time expectations. I like to see same-day response for anything that comes in before, say, 2 p.m. PST. 4-hour turnaround is even better for straightforward requests. Second, have backup approvers. If the primary deal desk person is out or swamped, who can step in? Don't let deals sit because someone is on vacation. Third, use technology. Most CRM systems nowadays, they can automate the routing. Deal meets certain criteria, it automatically goes to the right approver with all of the information they need. No emails back and forth asking for details. Fourth, empower the deal desk to actually decide. I've seen setups where the deal desk reviews and then has to get someone else to approve. And that's just adding steps. So give your deal desk a real authority within their limits. And fifth, track your response times. If you're not measuring it, you cannot improve it. I like to see metrics on how long the approvals are taking. Break it down by the type of requests and draw your inferences. And sometimes, you have to break the rules. Now, let me say something about that. Sometimes there is a strategic deal that might not fit the matrix. A logo that you really, really want, a market that you're trying to enter, a competitive situation that requires a high degree of flexibility. That's okay. The matrix is not meant to prevent every exception. It's simply meant to make sure exceptions are conscious decisions, not accidents. And here's the key. When you break the rules, you document why. You track those exceptions, because if you're constantly making exceptions for the same reason, that is not an exception anymore. That's a sign that your rules need to change. Be very careful about setting precedents. If you give one customer net 90-day payment terms, word will get around and suddenly every sales rep is asking for net 90 because you did it for that other deal. So yes, be flexible when you need to be, but be thoughtful about second-level consequences when you make decisions. So let me leave you with 3 key takeaways on this session. Number 1, a deal approval matrix answers one simple question: who can approve what? Get this documented clearly and eliminate confusion and speed up your deals. Number 2, set your thresholds based on data, not guesswork. Look at your actual deals, involve the sales leadership, and revisit it regularly. And number 3, speed is everything. Time kills deals. If your approval process is slow, it does not matter how good your matrix is. Set the response times, expectations, and hold your team to them. If you take the time to build a solid deal approval matrix, you will have far fewer fire drills, better margins, and a sales team that actually will trust the process. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.